Hi, everybody. Dan Ullman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Sunday, March the 12th. Race number 7 at Santa Anita. We're going 1.25 miles on the turf. This is a graded stake for fillies and mares, the Santa Ana. Let's take a look at this field. You've got several horses in this race actually cutting back in distance from 1.5 miles, Mike. The number 3, Australia Mia, was part of the pace in that race. Her North American debut, she ran quite well, and maybe cutting back to 1.25 miles is going to really move her forward.
Yeah, cutting back could a little bit could certainly help her. Second off the layoff could certainly help her as well. She's going to have to improve to win this race, Dan, but that's, certainly within the realm. I think the key to the race might just be whether or not you think the 5 Duvet Day is going to come back and run as well in this race as she did in winning the Astra last time, because I thought she was pretty good.
She was a big price in that 1.5 mile race, but we'll talk about that later. She came with a strong late kick. We'll take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for the 10 furlong Santa Ana. No surprise, Anna Glassa, breaking from the inside, is stretching out off a very fast-paced mile race where she chased a runaway leader. And I would think if she breaks, she's got to go to the front.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming they'll just go forward with her in here. I don't know if I necessarily saw her, loose on the lead in this race, Dan. We'll see if that's how it plays out. I guess it's certainly possible. Even if she is loose on the lead, I don't think that's going to be enough for her against this field, just based on what she's done so far.
Well, she's still eligible for a non-winners of 2 life event, and she's taking a big stretch out in distance as well as stepping up in class. Here's her most recent race. It's a first level allowance going 1 mile. It's her first start off a little bit of a layoff, and as you can see, there's a lone leader in front, and Anna Glassa has been on the chase throughout. Now, this leader is going to get very tired. She'll eventually come back to win an allowance race with an 84 buyer. Anna Glassa ran okay.
Yeah, I mean, she ran fine in here. She never looked like she was going to win. I mean, you can't really give her any credit for that pace being fast, Dan, because she was not the horse that was setting it. She was actually well off of that leader. And then she never caught that leader in the stretch, even though that horse was really tired. So I don't know. To me, she didn't run that well last time, and she didn't do anything before that makes me feel like she's going to beat this field.
The number 2 is Queen of the Temple, one of several horses in this race coming back out of the Astra. Now, the Astra was at 1.5 miles, and it had a solid pace for that distance. I thought all in all, Queen of the Temple had a pretty good trip saving ground in behind. And again, she ran fine. She might get a good tactical trip here, and perhaps the pace will be a little bit slower.
I agree with all that. She ran fine last time. I thought she got a really good trip in that race. Her last 3 starts are all pretty good performances, Dan, and maybe it just shows that she's in the best form of her career right now. So we'll see if she can, just come back and run another good one. I just I don't know. I look at that Astra, you look at the Timeform US past performances, and they have the fractions color-coded red, like it was, some kind of super fast pace. I don't know about you. I disagree wholeheartedly. I did not think that was a super fast pace. I thought this horse got a perfect trip in there, and she wasn't good enough.
She certainly got a great trip sitting in the pocket. I thought the pace was solid for the distance. I wouldn't say it was blazing, but the 3 Australia Mia was up close to that pace, and it was her first race in about 7 months, her first race in North America. She'd done some good things in Chile to begin her career, and I thought she ran okay as the favorite. She took some money, so the word was out that she could run a little bit. You never know what you're going to get with these South American imports. It's nice to know she has tactical speed and winning experience at this distance and can do better with the last race under her belt.
All those things are true. We'll see what kind of price she goes off this time. Maybe she gets bet again, and if she does, I don't know, that I'd be running to the windows to bet her back against Duvet Day in this race, because again, I just thought Duvet Day was really good in that race. But she was off the layoff. She was close to the pace. She did get a little tired at the end. So maybe she just needed it.
The number 4 is Ascendancy, a horse getting class, distance, and surface quizzes after her most recent race, a race we'll take a look at right now. This is over the Tapeta surface at Golden Gate Fields going 1 mile, and you see Ascendancy take advantage of a pretty fast pace in here. She got a really good closer's trip, saving ground, got out at just the right time, and runs down the tired leaders.
Good performance here. Probably the best race of her career. She's in good form right now. She's won 3 of her last 5. There's obviously, a lot working against her in this race, Dan. Switching surfaces, stepping up in class, stretching out, all those things are problematic for her. She's got to run a lifetime best.
been waiting for the 5 Duvet Day to do some good things. I liked what we saw from her at Del Mar over the summer, and it just seems she couldn't run back to that effort until her most recent start. And this is the Astra, and Kazushi Kimura had her settled in mid-pack in this race. And we're going to watch Duvet Day kick on widest and fastest. And as you see, she's really picking it up the final 3/16 of a mile.
Yeah, this is a big finish here. They had to swing her pretty wide there at the top of the stretch, but it's not really going to matter. She's just going to charge over the top of these horses that are on the lead right now, both of whom are back in this race. Then I was just really taken with this performance. Again, I personally didn't think this was really a pace-aided win, although I guess if you look at Timeform US past performances, maybe you'll think that. You can go back and watch that stretch run again. I didn't see a bunch of other horses flying from the back of the pack like Duvet Day was.
That's true. Do you think last time was the time at 13-1, Mike, or would you take her at something like 4-1 at 9-2?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be that reluctant to go back to her and here, Dan. I don't think she's going to be the favorite based just off of that last win. She's not going to be 13-1 again, and obviously last time was a good time to have her. I think she's playable back.
My favorite daughter is up next. She's stretching out off a race in which she fell far behind a fast pace. That was the Anna Glaser race that we showed you earlier on. She kicked on in the end and passed a couple of tired horses. I really couldn't see much of an excuse, and now she's stepping up in class, stretching out in distance. I think she's got to run a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of have an idea of what she is at this point, Dan. She's run 22 times. She's won 3 times, only 2 of those wins on the grass. And it's a significant step up in class for her.
The 7 is Buzz of New York, and she's going to be making her stakes debut in North America. Sort of been stuck in the maiden ranks for a while, then in the first level allowance ranks, then in the second level allowance ranks. She finally broke through with her second allowance win in this race. Her second start off a little bit of a layoff. I thought she had a great trip in here. She sat in the pocket, got to the outside, and just found a field I thought that she could beat at a very short price.
Yeah, this was a spot where everything was lined up for her to win. She's 1-5, and this is a mare who's always gotten bet since she's arrived here, and she got the right trip here, and she does what she's supposed to do to win. That comes off the heels of the race on February 3rd, Dan, where boy, she got really unlucky in that race. That trip really did not work out for her, and that's a race that she might have actually won had things worked out.
Harper's Gallop is up next, the number 8, and these connections were kind of reluctant to stretch her out in distance for most of her career. She's gotten really good since they did so in her last 2 starts. Let's watch her most recent effort. Frankie Dettori put on a riding clinic in this race. It's only a $25,000 starter allowance, but Frankie put Harper's Gallop right on the lead, dropped the anchor. They went almost 50 seconds to the half, and Harper's Gallop, unsurprisingly, has plenty left in the drive.
I can't bet her back off of this performance, Dan, but that is her best running style. I will say that about her. So maybe they'll go to the lead again in this race, or at least try to go to the lead again. All of her good races are when she's able to, be part of the pace. So maybe they'll try to get her there. She's really hard to like in here.
You and I really liked Ballet Dancing in her most recent start off of a race 2 starts back where she looked really good, tracking in the second flight, attacking at just the right time off the second turn, and drawing away. Were you surprised she was so close to the pace in that most recent race because she got tired late?
Yeah, I was. I don't think it was necessarily a bad idea, Dan, to try to get a little more aggressive with her. The problem that I had with it, and that's the race that Buzz of New York was also in. Buzz of New York ran great in there with trouble. But I just didn't really care for Dettori. He just seemed indecisive to me. He went forward with her initially. She wound up between horses, sort of contesting it. And for some reason, once they got to the backstretch, he decided maybe I'll try to back out of here. He backed up for a second, and then he went again, and he wound up between horses, contesting it again. I just feel like it was an indecisive ride. I'm going to give her a pass for that race. I think she's way better than that, and I don't mind her stretching out in distance for this.
And she has a lot of upside potential. I don't think we've seen her best yet. She's very lightly raced. Before we get to our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for the Sunday race of the day. It's the Santa Ana. Mike's going right back to Ballet Dancing, 4-1 on the morning line. Playable at that price?
Yeah, I would take that price on her. I want to give her a chance here stretching out. And I think she's way better than her last race. I think she will pull a better trip this time. And then we'll just see. I guess if Duvet Day runs as well here as she did last time, maybe she just wins right back. I'm going to try to beat her with this horse.
Well, ballet dancing has to run well because I'm off of her. Duvet Day really kicked home last time. I'm a little worried that maybe more distance is what she wants than the 1.25 miles. But if this pace is honest, I think she'll give a good account from off of it. 9,573 for Mike, 5,237 for me. It's the Sunday race of the day, the Santa Ana. Good luck.